So, you want to get good at CS2? Maybe you're a returning player from CSGO that's been struggling to rank up in this new game ever since release. Or maybe you're a new player that seemingly can't get over a plateau in your skill. Whichever your situation may be, I am here to show you what I think is the secret to getting better at CS. And don't think this is the same kind of advice you could find anywhere, which, mind you, is still useful. Stuff like keeping track of your progress, having a practice routine, reviewing your demos, etc. is still very important and should be actively done if you want to see some progress. I'm talking about something more subtle, subconscious even. I am talking about mentality. Now, don't click off the video yet. Yes, I know what you're thinking. This guy thinks he's gonna give me some Andrew Tate level of advice by talking about meaningless stuff. But no, mentality is more than what many people think it is. It encapsulates a whole range of topics that we'll use to break down this video. Let's start off with something simple that I'm sure many of you will understand. Tilting. Depending on the type of person you are, tilting may be something that you experience on the regular while bugging. Or it could be just a minor part of your games, something that you reserve for when you're really angry. In any case, we can all understand that it's not something positive for our game, and we can also understand why tilting happens. We miss an easy shot, we go for what we consider to be a stupid play, we see teammates doing less than ideal stuff. Well, considering what I just said, I think we already broke down tilting into a few simple cases for which it could happen. Now, sure, there are some external factors to it, things that we can't control directly. But for the most part, I'd say it's about one thing, and that is caring too much. Like, yeah, sure, you could say to the Putzes player to stop peeking mid and get instantly killed by an op, but he's not gonna listen to you, let's be honest. You don't have to, and you shouldn't, rely on yourself playing the support player to fix others' mistakes. Think about it like this. Would you have more impact on the round doing what you're comfortable with, or trying to help someone stupid do something that they may not know how to act about later? But yeah, sure. A stupid play from your teammate could also lose you the round. That doesn't mean you should put yourself in a disadvantage because of that. Let me emphasize this. You don't have to help him, and most importantly, you don't have to tilt. Here is one key concept we are going to carry throughout all of this video. Stay positive. Sometimes in pugs you're really playing at 4v5, and you could also feel like a 1v5 at times. But CS is a game of variables. For example, I'm sure many of us have had a game where the enemy team had a crazy comeback, and also we had a game where we did that too. Like, we know what Counter-Strike is, so you should play according to that. Because comebacks like this don't happen randomly. There is always a reason for that, even if it's a small one. Like switching sides, switching approach even, positions, everything matters in this game, even the small things, and we know it very well. But tilting influences even these small variables. If not for your team, maybe just for you. Imagine being in this game I just talked about and mentally giving up. Maybe you're a top bragger and you think that your teammates are not even trying, so you start to lose interest and focus. You're not griefing. You're not even trolling. Just not trying your best. Be it subconscious or not, you just aren't at the top of your game now. That's what tilting does. Ultimately, it just lowers your chances to do something that could win you the game. But if you did try, you will be positively influencing these variables, because then you're part of the equation. Play every game like the scoreline is the same as when you started. Be positive. You'd be surprised to know how many games you lost by being the opposite of that. Maybe you can reflect on those after watching this video and understand that tilting is not going to help you. Don't play like you depend on your teammates. Play like they depend on you. I'm not asking you to be Dong. I'm not asking you to carry every single game you're in. But you should play them as if you were trying to do just that. Even if it fails, you're still playing for variables and upping your chances at win, because you can rely on yourself and you can adapt to the environment of your game. But you can't expect your teammates to do the same. Now sure, it's not easy to suppress those feelings. Anybody would just prefer to forfeit after apparently losing so hard. But you just have to know that it's not all over. Not all the times at least. Just keep that in mind and try to play as best as you can. But what will be your motivation for doing so if you really think that the game you're playing is unwinnable? Well, even when losing, you're still learning the stuff, but not with a negative mindset. You start to get into this mental state where you keep saying to yourself, why am I in this game? Why am I playing with these people? And you should stop clouding your mind with these thoughts. Focus on your game. Because let me tell you, even at the highest level, you can never expect to rely on external factors. You can just influence those by focusing on the internal ones first. And try to do that positively. That's how you improve. Knowing that whatever the outcome of game may be, if you try your best, you're still going to learn something. Even if you didn't notice any changes the first time, your mind will, eventually, if you allow it to do so. When you die against an opponent when you're tilted, most of the times you're just going to think, well, this game is going to shit anyways, I don't care. Another way to look at that instead would be thinking about what you did wrong, or what you did right. Counter that, see how it goes, and you're just one step forward to putting yourself in a winning situation. As you can see, the difference tilting brings into the game could be devastating for your drive, for your confidence, right? And that also comes down to yourself, because admit it, you're not as good as you think you are. And that's completely okay. You're gonna improve if you accept this. And try to accept every shot you miss, every clutch you lose, every unfavorable situation you put yourself in, instead of saying, fuck this game and giving up. Allow yourself to fail. The more you do, the faster you will see improvements in your game. This ties in nicely with our next point, and that is confidence. Confidence is not something you acquire instantly in Counter-Strike. Well, in any part of life, really. But it's a fundamental skill that you will eventually develop, in one way or another, if you keep playing the game. But you can make sure to make the best of it in a number of ways. First off, remember what we discussed before. Allow yourself to fail. If you never start picking mid with an op, you're never going to get comfortable with it. No matter how much it seems scary now to attempt some kind of risky play, you will eventually have to die and fail while doing it, if you want to adapt it into your playstyle. Be honest with yourself, you know that you're never going to get comfortable to do something you rarely attempt to do. I used to think this way. I used to play really passively in almost every situation, cause I thought to myself, well, eventually my aim will get better, my game sense will improve, and I will find confidence in being active around the map. But that never happened, until I started to say fuck, I'll try anyways. Yes, I failed at the start. You will too, but that's important. The more you keep doing that same thing, the more likely it is to become something you will get comfortable with. Being that player that is not scared to push your enemy into an unfavorable situation brings you an insane advantage over waiting for your enemy to make a mistake, and you can only do that if you're confident in what you're doing. This sounds not very wise, obviously, but I'm not asking you to repeat a stupid move over and over again and hope that it will eventually work out. No, what I'm asking you to do is to just try. Just try. You think picking up the op may be good for you in this game? Try doing that. You think buying 2 flashes and pushing down banana may work out against your opponents? Try doing that. It doesn't matter if you're uncomfortable. You will not feel like that after a few days, I promise you. But what if my play seems stupid, you may ask? Then you will know after you've already attempted that. But if you let your playstyle stagnate, then you're never going to know what works out for you. But what if my play seems really stupid? Well, that's when you can pass on step 2 of this process. A while back, I asked you to start playing by variables, but now you should start playing by percentages too. Consider what the best move for each situation may be after you've already tried many different approaches to that in your past games, or even this current one, and make a general idea of how you should go about approaching that. Then you'll develop an idea of what the meta is for each position and role you go on take every game. You can also do that intuitively by watching pro demos, but I'd say experience is the best factor in developing game sense. When you feel lost, ask yourself, what play should I attempt in this situation? And by that, try to follow the percentage of success for each single option you find. But I'll let you know, nothing has a 100% success rate in this game. This is what's called taking a calculated risk. For example, let's say you play long on Inferno. It's pistol round, and you're considering 3 options for your game plan. You could either play passively, by staying in long and holding the angle, or maybe just peeking and re-peeking. You could take a peek down mid, maybe just for info, or you could push mid, like we see in some low-level games. Obviously, these are not all of the plays you could attempt here, but you can see there are some, and in this case mostly just one, that have a very low success rate, aka percentage. Throw that option out and choose another one. But whatever you do, remember to stick to your decision. Don't ever second guess yourself. Be confident. You don't have time to reconsider your actions in this game. If you see an opportunity, if you think of a plan, even if it's not working out the best for you, it's too late to change your mind. Remember, everything you do in CS counts as a risk, but a calculated one. Play by percentages. Choose the highest possible one and stick to it. If it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, well, sometimes that's just how the game goes. But not all the time. If you see yourself dying over and over again while trying something, maybe consider the fact that it may not have been the best percentage available for you to follow. But even with that, just because a play of yours doesn't work out, it doesn't mean it's a bad one. Try to understand how you play, do that by playing more, experimenting more. Who knows, maybe you're not the kind of player you think you are, but you still haven't discovered your playstyle because of your fear of failure. Now let's get on to our last point. Communication. I will give a very brief explanation about this point, since it's the most straightforward, but to put it simply, don't become a burden for your teammates, man. Even if they're bad, they probably know already and don't need to hear it from you. Just leave all that ego behind. You're not the best player ever, you know? You were struggling too, at some point. And you too have bad games, like everybody else. Telling everybody they're bad, again, puts you in that negative mental state we talked about when discussing tilting. You could say even this whole video is a PSA against tilting, and that would be true. In general, tilting makes people play bad, because in their mind, they've already given up. And that happens to your teammates if you keep bashing them about their mistakes. If you have to rage, keep it to yourself, but try not to do that in the first place. Maintain confidence and limit your comments to calls. You'll see big improvements in your game once you start to maintain a good mentality, I promise you. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. It's my first one, so I hope it was not too bad. I would ask you to subscribe and do all the things the algorithm likes if you wanna show some support. Put a like on this video, comment and all the stuff. See ya.